Is it over? Is it safe to come out? Well, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Director's Garage. I am your host and resident idiot, Michael. And first off, I owe everyone an apology. See, it's been a few weeks since my last show, and that's because of work and, wait for it, COVID. Yep, I got the virus for the second time, and being the helpless romantic I am, for Valentine's Day, yeah, I gave it to my wife. Guys, nothing says romance like the gift of COVID.
Thank you.
Now, that's all over now, and award season is winding down, and we'll be back with regular productions like shootouts and in-depth reviews and all the craziness, including What's in the Box episodes, like What's in These Two right here.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, we're doing a double unboxing today, but first I gotta give a shout out. Thanks to all of you for the well wishes. It's been a rough month. I lost a grandma at 99. I'll be heading to Chicago in a few weeks for a family gathering. And I want to give a special thanks to all of you Patreon subscribers. We've been doing a Zoom meeting called the Hangover Hangout. And among our guests have been Ryan Dietz from Mod House, and our latest edition featured Zach and Kevin from ZMF Headphones, who showed us a few prototypes and took questions. It's all face-to-face. Our latest Patreon member is Marcus L., who subscribed to a backstage pass. He'll get exclusive content and voting power over future episodes. And thanks to everyone who has joined that community. It's growing fast, and I'm going to continue with the Hangouts about once a month, and I'm going to keep the unique content coming. I want those Zoom meetings to have great content and takeaway. All right, on with the show.
What's in the box?
Yeah, guys, today it's a pair of headphones. It's a Director's Garage Daily Double from a manufacturer called Aurorus Audio. I just love the name. Now, this will be a true blind what's in the box, or should I say boxes? I don't know. All I know is Aurorus contacted me a month or so ago, maybe a little more, and asked me if they could send me some headphones. Since I'm broke, I said, yeah, sure. Why not? Let's go for it. Now, I haven't looked at what they produce. I don't know what market they're going for. All I know is based on a simple Google search. They're a small company founded in 2018, and they serve, quote, the most discerning viewers. I don't know if I fall into that category, but let's find out. Heifer whines could be human cries. Closer comes the screaming knife. Got that one? That's Meat is Murder, title track of an album by the Smiths when Morrissey was great. All right, I'm opening these two packages in no particular order. I have no idea what to expect today. I don't know models or price points or anything, and I don't want to know. I want this to be a complete adventure for the both of us. All right, I think the time has come. Are you ready? Are you ready? And oh my God, we got ourselves, well, it looks like a planetary kind of device here. Check this out. Oh, and it's a box. It's a case, guys. It's a fancy ass case. Let's try and get this out of here in some fashion, but man, it's stuck. It's stuck, guys. It's stuck. There it is. Knocking the heck out of that microphone. Man, God. Okay, we got a couple of latches here on this part, and then I don't know what's going on underneath, but let's find out. Oh, here it is. Here's our first step, our first reveal. Let's go. And oh my God, we got ourselves a headphone. And it's a nice headphone. Look at this. This has kind of got shades of the Yamaha, but it's definitely not. There's something really more crude and industrial looking about these. It's kind of like a banging set of headphones. I don't know anything about these. Let's see if there's a card or something more in here. Let's check it out. See, down in the bottom here, we've got a warranty card. Aurorus. This is called a Borealis. It's a loaner, but the name of the model is Borealis. Well, I like Aurorus Borealis. That's a great name, I think. Man, let's dig deeper. And it looks like there's just a simple cable here, and it looks like these are ZMF style. That's great. Yeah, I dig the ZMF standard because it's an adapter that a lot of headphones are using, and I happen to have a bunch of these style cables right here. But let's check out the headphone closer. All right, so we've got kind of a metal plate. This looks like a washer, like the kind of washer you'd find in a hardware store. It's kind of interesting. And then there's this layer of, it looks like some sort of damping material or something or other. And then down on the inside is some sort of screen. So they're giving me planar magnetic vibes, but I kind of want to see what's going on underneath. Do you think we should take off the pads and have a look? Yeah, of course. Okay, let's pull this off, and oh, it does come off rather easily, and oh, look at that. It's a dynamic driver. A dynamic driver, folks. That's pretty cool. You know, I kind of just looking at these, I kind of expected maybe, and they're a little heavier, so I thought maybe there'd be magnets on either side of this little screen device here, but this screen is transparent. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but I can see my fingers through the mesh on this thing. So it's an open back dynamic driver. Very cool. Nice looking construction here. This is kind of a polycarbonate material right here. And then there's a lot of exposed like metal touches. I kind of would like to see something a little more finished in the middle. I think you could do something more special there. Maybe like a logo or something. I don't know. It just needs a little dressing for my aesthetic taste. But let's do the dance here with this pad, and then I'll try them on in a second. All right, through the magic of post-production, look, these things went right on.
Okay.
Guys, it's that bicycle tire thing. You got to slip it over one end, and then you're kind of inching it around the thing, and then it goes back on. But I pulled it out for a little bit. Let's check out the construction of the band. Now, it's got the double wire thing. I've seen Dan Clark use this thing, and some AKG models use this. Not the biggest fan of it. It's a little flimsy, but I do like this thick pad in the middle. Check this out. This is an Alcantara on the bottom of some sort, and then it feels like some kind of pleathery thing on top. I don't think this is real leather. It doesn't feel like real leather to me, but it's all suspended on a strap that goes through the middle. This is not an elastic strap, though. All of the cushioning is going to come from this memory foam or whatever it is in the padding. But let's try them on. And oh, yeah. Okay, these are comfortable. They're light. They're lightweight, but they need a little adjustment. And you do that by pushing or pulling on the double wire. Boy, these things are tight. There you go. Okay, so now I made a little loosey-gooseier, and when we go to put them back on, yeah, now these are feeling like they fit. Well, I may have gone too far. Let's bring it back a little bit. There you go. That's feeling good. That's feeling good. All right. Well, I think they're a little goofy looking because of the big pad up here, but they are comfortable enough, so I'll give them that. They don't have a big clamp at all. So if these things are going to rely on a seal, it's not pushing too tight on this, and they are flexy because of this wire situation. So kind of a mixed bag on the ergos. I do like this plastic material. This feels solid, but let's check them out for ringing. Oh, they do ring a lot. They do ring a lot. Okay, so we'll have to see how all of this translates. I don't know about you, but I think it's time for a Director's Garage sound impression.
Sound impression.
All right, we are wired up and fired up, and let's start this little exploration with the band. And I'm going to go to their eponymous record. I'm going to be listening to a track called The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, and I got this thing turned down. I love a dynamic driver. There's something visceral about the texture of the bottom end on on a dynamic. It just feels warm, and there's a good bottom end on it. I really enjoy a good dynamic. These are really, really nice. There is a... These are great. Okay, so let's just start with it's a warm presentation. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. It's a warm presentation. There's really nice high-end clarity. For a dynamic driver, it's actually quite impressive. I don't like that these things shake a lot on my head. It's kind of hard to get used to. But from a sonic standpoint, there's a beautiful bottom end and it extends nicely down low. It's not like going deep into the sub, but there's enough bass representation and a good bass presence to make these enjoyable for me. I like the treble end of this. It's delicate without being overly pushed. Man, this is a headphone that just lets you forget about the tech of it all and just enjoy the music. These are really musical. I'm very impressed with the musicality of these. I don't think these are the fastest headphone I've ever heard, but the shape of the tone is wonderful. These are excellently tuned. And although it's not like blow me away in the detail department, there is good clarity here. Like, everything is distinct. There's a decent image. The stage seems to be reasonably wide. Yeah, I'm really impressed out of the gate with this headphone, and I'm gonna go to another track off this album because I enjoy this album so much. I just love the band. I love everything about the Americana approach to music. This really started a trend in modern music. It brought everything back to basics. There was all this exploration going on in 1967 psychedelia. You had the Beatles going way out there with the crazy instrumentations and trying experimentation in the studio. This anchored music back to its basics and roots. Really professional, accomplished players linking up to pure emotion, and this album is loaded with emotion. That said, let's go to the hit off this record, and that was Up on Cripple Creek. Now, this song has what everybody thinks is, there is really good bottom end on this. I'm very happy with the bottom end on this. Woo! Everybody thinks there's a juice harp on this. Everything when you talk to people, they're like, "Oh, I love that juice harp thing." It's not. It's actually a clavinet. It's a keyboard, and it was played by Garth Hudson, the amazing saxophonist and keyboardist for the band. It's phenomenal. It gives this song a very distinct sound and made it a hit. Man, this does remind me of the great Fostex headphones. But there's a width to this that the Fostex didn't have because it was a closed back. It doesn't have as much detail as something like a Focal, like a Utopia. But I like the tuning better. It doesn't have any of that harshness in these are buttery smooth and beautiful. Oh, it's going to be hard to put a price on these. Let's go check out something else. And the artist I'm going to go to next is Dave Mason. I'm kind of on this classic rock kind of thing today. Dave Mason, and let's go to his album Alone Together. This is Man, if you haven't heard this record, y'all don't know what you're missing. The track we're going to go for is Only You Know and I Know. This was the hit off this record. Now, Dave was a part of that Eric Clapton, George Harrison crew. He toured with Delaney and Bonnie, recorded with McCartney, played with Fleetwood Mac, joined the band when they had problems with Lindsay. And of course, he was a founding member of Traffic. Yeah. And I happen to pick some songs that really this headphone does really well. I wonder if these would struggle with like jazz, or if they'd be, but I would think they'd be good for hip hop given the bottom end on these things. Oh, these are a win though. They're a little on the warm side. These things are toasty. This material, this Alcantara, it's just a cloth material, but it's a fuzzy cloth, kind of like Alcantara, but I don't think it's true Alcantara. It's warm. You got a nice acoustic guitar happening over here. You've got a tambourine over here. It's not too harsh, not too bright. And they just lack, like when you're listening to like a Sesfara or Caldera or the Mod House, you can hear the little metal things coming together. This is just giving you the overall semblance of a beautiful tambourine over here. And guitar sounds great on it. That semi-distorted electric, it's just wonderful. All right, now because of the bass on this, I want to go to some Bob Marley. And the album I'm going to go check out is, let's do Burnin', and let's do Get Up, Stand Up, and see how this thing is, because it's such great bass in reggae music. I just love Gotta give it a little juice. Now this song has a little hint of harshness in the uppers. The background singer singing the Get Up, Stand Up part, they're a little bit edgy for me. But Marley's voice is butter. So good. And the bass, just made for it. But you can tell the planers. I've listened to a lot of Bob Marley lately because of the movie and my role in supporting and doing the press on that movie. I'm talking about One Love, which is in theaters now, and I've been listening to so much. And one thing I noticed on planers is the percussion is so distinct and really pops out of these mixes, and it's not doing it as much here. Like I said, more musical, more smooth. You're not getting that, but you're getting a really nice bass on these, and I appreciate that. So not the end game in detail, but I wouldn't expect it to be an end game in detail. A big driver like that, if there's a lot of movement on the dynamic driver, you'll be pushing a lot of air. It'll give you that rich, thick bass. It's wonderful. I'm going to pause this for a second. I want to go to some jazz, and I want to go to Cannonball Adderley, and let's check out, let's go to something else, because I love this record. This is one of my favorite jazz recordings of all time. Let's listen to how it handles horns. Let's see if the horns are edgy. And I can tell when the trumpet comes in. There's a muted trumpet in this. It'll give you some action if it's a little on the harsh side. Here it is. No, it's nice. Okay, so my concerns about the upper mids and the Marley track seem to be assuaged by the Cannonball Adderley track. God, these guys had just such swing. Yeah, it's definitely not a neutral headphone. These definitely are presenting a little more bass. I happen to like that. For jazz, it might be a little too much, But man, that classic rock stuff is so good. It's so good. What else do I have up here? Well, let's go to Yes.
Yes.
And let's check out, let's give it a little more challenge. This is a lot of instruments going on here. I'm going to go to Long Distance Runaround. Talk about whiplash. Woo. Yeah, there's good image on this thing. It's playing well in this stereo. Oh, that bass is so good. It's so good. Yeah, for a really good time headphone. This is great. This is just great. Yeah, there's good spatial effects in this. There's a nice stage. Not the widest thing, but it gives you a nice sense of space. Anderson's vocals are beautiful, and there's a nice narrow reverb on it. Almost a slap echo. It's nice. And you get the sense of space. Then the bass is in the middle, and then you've got the guitar, and then the rhythm guitar over here. Okay. I'm going to stop because I've got a whole other headphone to do, and this thing can be an hour long just on this headphone. Fundamentally, really impressed. I wish the build was maybe a little bit more robust. I think they've got to work on this build a little bit. Finish it off a little bit. Give us some more interesting. Give us a little polish on this side. But we've got a whole other headphone to get to, so let's do it. Yeah, guys, it's part 2 of this double episode. This is so great. Let's jig in. All right, we got ourselves just a box. I mean, I'm kind of expecting a similar experience on these to the other one. I shouldn't be too surprised, but let's just do it for posterity. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah, you are. And oh, it's the same case. Who knew? A same case from the same company called Aurorus Audio, and it's got a space theme on the logo, which I actually kind of like. This is kind of cool. This is like a ballistic plasticky kind of case. Very robust, very nice, but let's pull it out of here. It's going to give me the same problems as coming out of the box, I'm sure. And once again, we're going to throw these open, and let's take a look at what's in box number 2. And oh, we've got a very similar. Did they send me the same headphone twice? What are we looking at here? Okay. All right. Well, this is a closed back. Okay, so here's the difference. This is the closed back varietal of the Aurorus Audio. I am guessing these are going to have probably the same cable. And look at this. They've got, this is the Australis. So maybe it's an Australia company? I don't know. I'm just guessing. And again, same cable deal. I so appreciate. They get major applause from me for adopting the ZMF standard, the Meze standard, the Audeze standard. Those companies are really smart in that they've unified their wiring, and huge kudos to anybody who does that, or the simple 3.5 jacks. I'm a huge fan. Now, I should open. Let's take a look at the driver on this one too. Okay, let's pull this out, and I'm going to again cheat on the driver. And yeah, the same thing. This is a dynamic driver, as I might expect. There is some interesting extra padding on this one, or some kind of filter material they're using. Probably give it a little different sound shape. I'll be very anxious to try. But otherwise, other than the plastic cup on the outside of this, the build is identical to the Aurorus, and this is the Australis. The other one was the Borealis, so we got the Borealis and the Australis. And another magical reattachment of the ear pad. These are a little loosey-goosey. Let's tighten them down. Oh, this one moves better too. It's not as tight as the other one. The other one, man, I was like, am I pulling this thing apart? What's going on? Okay, like the feel of these. The same kind of loosey thing going on. This is kind of flexy. I wish the build was a little bit stronger, but the finish on the sides is a little more professional to me, given that even though it's plain, it feels more finished to me on a look standpoint. All right, let's start this one off with some Led Zeppelin. I'm going to go to Led Zeppelin. Let's go to Led Zeppelin 2. I haven't done a track from Led Zeppelin 2 ever on this show, and the one I'm going to go for is the Lemon Song. And the things that I like about this, it's got really hard-hitting thud rock metal. The snare is distorted. It's they're running a distortion on the snare. It's so good, and the hi-hat, I think, too. And then you've got this super echoey plant vocal. Spectacular. And there's still good separation on these. There's a nice image. These don't maybe have that in the room effect that the other headphone does, that the Borealis has. But that's almost always going to happen when you close in a headphone. Very few headphones give you that spatial sense on a closeback. I mean, I like the spatial effects that the open back brings, the Borealis. The closeback lacks a little bit much. I'm gonna guess that this maybe doesn't cost as much. You definitely lose a little something in the translation. But the energy of this headphone is still there, and the bass is still there. It's just so fun. Got Zeppelin they're such a young, eager band at this point. They've got so much to prove. Just nasty. And this song is it's a Robert Johnson ripoff. It's a lift. And it's got double entendre all over it. It's a riot. And here comes the breakdown section. This is one of my favorite parts of the song. That's gonna go. Yeah, you almost get a bass solo. It's so great when they do the breakdown section, and John Paul Jones' bass is just, man, it drives this whole song. And then you got the great bottom in the background. These don't give me quite the presentation of the open back, though. I prefer the open back for sure. That's good. All right, let's go to something else here. This song goes on for a while. Let's go to Iggy Pop, and I'm gonna let's go to the album Lust for Life, and the track I want to hear is The Passenger. This has got, yeah, it's a nice studio sound to it. Oh man, the bass kicks so lovely on these things. It's just delicious. The lively, energetic bass down low. They got it right on this headphone. You just feel it. There's energy. That energy just lifts the entire musical presentation on this headphone. Phenomenal bass. And not a lot of power to drive these either, guys. I'm on the DCS Lena at 2 volts, and I'm feeding it into the HM1 from Zal. Yeah, it's just killing it, man. Just killing it. Phenomenal. You can flip over to Class A on this, and it's going to give it a little more aggressive edge to it. It's pure emotion. It's pure energy. It's everything you want. And what a great album this is. is just a world-class record, world-class recording, and it's the best Iggy Pop ever sounded. I'm gonna go to one more track here before we wrap this thing down and start looking up what we got here, and that is I'm gonna go back to that Yes track because I want to hear Long Distance Runaround on this headphone and hear what it does. Yeah, it's the same driver for sure. There's no way that's a different driver. Just different filter, doing a little bit to tweak it. This is presenting better than the other songs as far as spatial awareness, the spatiality of the stage and image. It's not as locked in as the other pair, but man, there's probably even better bass on this headphone, which I gotta love. I'm a bass whore. They don't seem as locked in on the image, and the space is a little more vague. But in fairness, these things really do have a nice sound to them and a nice sound shape. And if I was looking for a close back, I don't know. I'm still in love with that Meze, but that's $2,000. I think these are going to come in under $2,000. I'm going to pause it right here, but yeah, I'm going to go to the internet in a second. We're going to look up Aurorus Audio. I'm going to find out anything I can about them off their website. We'll Google that and get that going. But if I'm going to, I don't think the build is robust enough to put these at much over $1,000. And looking at this headphone's going to cost more, I think. I think there's more going on here. I don't know what the R&D is on this. I'm still not a huge fan of like the finish on this headphone, but I'm more of a fan of the sound of this one. I think this one's going to go for more money if I had to guess. Although there's more material here, but I'm gonna put this at maybe $1,100 in that range. That puts it in line with like the HiFi and Aria, that kind of headphone. I don't think this is like that $1,800 price point of the Fostex. And the Fostex, those are unabashedly bass cannons, and these have a lot of bass representation, but there's subtle different. And then the build, I'm going to put this at about $1,100, and this headphone I'm going to put a little cheaper. I'm going to put it at about $800, maybe $700. That's my guess. Now, I know nothing about Aurorus Audio. I do know that these are impressive headphones, though, and I like what I hear. And if you're into that dynamic driver sound, and you like 70s classic rock like I do, and punk and that kind of thing, that's the lane. Let's go to the web now. Let's look up Aurorus Audio. Here we go. The Borealis comes in at $900, and at $900, I think this is a buy. I think that this is a solid headphone buy. I like these. In this range, there's the Meze 109 Pro, I think it's called, and that's an open back, and I would prefer this to that headphone. There's things going on with this headphone that I more appreciate. I like the energy of this headphone more. I like the build of the Meze more, and they could Aurorus, you got to go check out Meze, and I'm not saying you got to rip them off, but I'm saying that's what you got to shoot for in the finish on these things, especially at this price point, because the 109 is even cheaper than this headphone. These are also $900. There's too much competition at that price point for this headphone, I think. They're really good, and I like the energy on these, and I like the bass. I think for the build and all of that stuff, if I'm going to give a recommendation, it's going to be for this headphone. This headphone seems to punch above its pay grade. These sound really good. They have the same driver. I don't think they spatially don't quite work as well as these, and I think there's a little less definition going on for whatever reason. And maybe there's some refraction because of the cup situation. Things aren't as precise. These are more vague. So let's start bringing this all home. And what I would say is this. I like these better than the FoKus Stellia. I'm going to say that right now, and that's a $3,000 headphone. But I don't think I like them as much as the Aeon 2 Noir, which has a little... It's just a sharper headphone. It doesn't give you the bass action of this headphone, but at $900, this headphone is very attractive. I would like to have a pair of these at the $900 price point because they have that solid bass response and they maintain some of the definition that this headphone doesn't. So that's my recommendation, is if you're considering one of these Aurorus, and I like these, feel like they're a smaller company that is trying to really break out, and you know, I'd love to work with them and advise them on the looks thing, because I think they're close on the design of this headphone. It just needs a little more refinement and they'd be there. I did look up, these are 50 millimeter drivers. It's the same size as the Sennheiser HD-820. These don't have the width of the Sennheisers, but I really like the shape of the sound of these a lot. I'm a fan of this headphone. So I gotta thank Aurorus Audio for sending the Borealis and the Australis our way. I think these things are for people who like classic rock, stuff that has bass energy. They'd probably be pretty good with hip hop, I'm thinking. Pop music, probably pretty good, but I love these things for those classic rock and punk tracks. It just does so much energy into the bass. It brings it, it gives all of the music a nice warmth to it, and musicality. Anything with a lot of instrumentation and some drive to it, these things really know how to rock out. And a huge, again, thank you to Aurorus Audio. Check them out, guys. Okay, well, it's good to be back, and there's more Director's Garage on the way. In the next episode, I'll be doing a deep dive into the world of iFi and their iDSD Signature Pro, that all-in-one DAC amp with an impressive list of features. I can't wait for that. So make sure you're subscribed to the Director's Garage so you don't miss that one. Give this episode a thumbs up if you enjoyed the look at these two cool products from Aurorus. Or do the other things if I bored you to tears. I can't say I blame you either way. And I will see you before you know it, folks.